First Universalist of New Madison on this sweltering July weekend day. We have any announcements?
Our announcement is we have a guest speaker next week.
Yes.
And at service, and then the week following that, which is I believe the 20th of July, that will be our annual meeting. We want to make sure everybody comes for that, because we have lots of important business as we do each year.
Yes, and we only meet once a year now. So.
What was the invitation to go to El Dorado?
That
Last
Was that
July, I think, 27th, we go to El Dorado for their
27th?
historic something.
that's correct.
Oh, they're getting
Yes.
a presentation for historic.
They're getting a special presentation, and you can invite us to join them on the 27th.
27th, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the 27th. We need to remember that because we won't have service the 27th. We'll all meet over there, so we'll have to remember that. Somebody.
And our annual meeting on the 20th will be after the service.
Right.
And
Everybody is invited to that, whether you're a member or not. If you're just interested,
you can't vote if you're not a member, but you can certainly participate in all the.
put your opinion in, and you can become a member pretty quick. So, if you want to vote,
I wish they could. They had some power.
yeah, you can turn the coffee pot on too. And I asked before if anybody wants lemonade. I can bring ice cubes up. So,
I turned the coffee pot on.
what's that?
I turned the coffee pot on.
Oh, you turned it on. All right.
Okay, great.
I did put coffee in it, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's the announcement I have.
All right. Roberta.
That happened, I'm attributing it to the hand of God.
Because this is the 4th of July weekend, and the reason this is up, what I had planned for today for a presentation was profiles in cowardice, not profiles in courage, but profiles in cowardice, along with the big, beautiful bill that just passed.
Yeah.
So if we have any time at the end, we'll kind of sneak that in.
I saw online this week. There's a new mural going up in Greenville, drawn by David Feldman. No, Jeffrey Feldman. One up on the A&B coffee shop.
Really?
They're doing the installation Tuesday morning at 10.
Yeah.
Great.
Weather permitting.
Yeah.
So it's his cool.
If anybody, I'll try and be there. If not, if anybody's there, somebody get pictures. I'm sure there'll be pictures in the paper that we can pull up. So this is our commemorative 4th of July Statue of Liberty, and this is what she looks like today.
Yeah.
All right. Prelude. This is my father's world. This is my Father's world. Thank you. All right, our chalice lighting is Justice is Our Prayer. We gather together today with sacred intention to declare that justice is our prayer. We affirm in covenant with the beloved community that it is possible. Not here, not quite yet. The seeds have been planted time and time again, and we remember all those who went before us and made the beloved community a dream that could be realized. Justice is our prayer. May our time of worship, service together continue to water the budding trees of our diverse interdependence. May our time of worship give air and nourishment to the parts of our collective spirits that need to grow and thrive, that embrace equity as a known way of being. Justice is our prayer. We affirm in covenant with the beloved community that it is possible. May it be so. Let us worship together. That's by Rebecca Savage. Our first hymn is 115, God of Grace and Glory.
Thank
children's warring madness, bend our pride to thy control. Shame our wanton selfish gladness, rich in things, poor in soul. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, make thy peace our daily goal. Truer words never spoken or partially sung. Right, our affirmation. Lamentation, this is out of the Unitarian Universalist supply thing. This is not something that I dug up. A lamentation for the first 100 days of this administration. Spirit of life, we gather with hearts broken open, souls aching by the weight of the world, by the wounds of history, by the cruel persistence of injustice. How long, O Spirit, must our bodies be made into battlegrounds? How long must the earth be sacrificed at the altar of profit? How long must we abide by an economy of disposability, where Black, Indigenous, people of color, transgender, and disabled lives are traded for another's right to exist, another's claim of safety? How long must this world run on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen lives for the sake of greed and the lie of supremacy? We lament the silence that has stretched too long, the complicity woven into our comforts, the slowness of our response when urgency was demanded. We grieve the gap between our values and our actions, between the pragmatic and the prophetic. Forgive us the times we have turned away. Forgive us when we have mistaken quiet for peace and civility and decorum for justice. But let this lament not be the end. Let our sorrow carve space for resolve. Let our tears water the seeds of uprising. Let our faith rise from the ashes, not innocent, but braver, wiser, and more centered in love. May we be a people who side with love. May we be a people who disrupt, who dismantle, and who dream. May we be a people who remember that we are always on the horizon of transformation, and there may we greet our collective liberation. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. And that was created by the organizing strategy team of the Unitarian Universalist Association for Side with Love. All right. Our children's story, if you can hear it. There's a choir that meets, I think it's in Kentucky or Tennessee. It was on CBS Friday night, if anybody saw this.
Yeah.
Really moving.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it very well. We'll just have to be quiet and listen. But it's the national anthem sung by a bunch of kids, not planned, not programmed. Somebody just started, and they all gathered in. So that is a true 4th of July.
In the atrium of a hotel.
In the atrium of I forget the name of the hotel, like a Hyatt or something.
Big hotel.
But it's like 8 or 9 floors, but it's all around an open atrium. All these kids are on each floor, and nobody's directed them or started them.
Someone sings a pitch. It can be anyone from anywhere. Once one person starts, everyone wants to be a part of it. And eventually the entire hotel catches on. And then it's the international anthem. Some say it's the acoustics here at high reaches. Others, the sheer volume of the act. But whatever the reason, one thing is clear. That this is patriotism. It's the center sound. It's all around you. Sensory. And it's completely organic. There's no planning or mental direction. This is all kids from all walks of life who every year make it a priority to fill this hotel atrium with a riveting reminder. We are not a nation of soloists, but a chorus of shared values that we join together. Let's fight. What the world has ever heard. Steve Harvey.
Yeah, it was on last night.
Yeah.
And as I have to do every time, I can't just download it. I have to video it with my phone, put it in the computer, then send it to myself as an email, and then put it back on here, which is why
Yeah.
everything is screwed up. If somebody has a magic way of doing this correctly, it doesn't cost me a fortune because I could pay money to YouTube. It's like $20 a month or something and download with permission, but I'm too cheap to do that. So that's what we're doing. All right. Joys and concerns. Did anybody notice anything about the group of children?
Diverse, very diverse.
Yeah, very diverse except for no color. I did not see one or two kids. There were a couple.
Girl.
The one girl. But if you when they were going around the rings, how many colored, how many Asian, how many indigenous? I mean, this is Kentucky and Tennessee and choir members. So I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out the fact that we're celebrating diversity, but we're not really. We still haven't made it yet. Just like our indication. All right, joys and concerns. There's a bunch. We'll start out with Texas. Unbelievable. Over 50 people have confirmed dead, and there's 27 girls missing. And have you seen some of the comments that are being made? One person actually said this was a false news, fake news, it wasn't true. Another person said there's too many bureaucrats, and that's the problem. Nobody, that was Chip Roy, that was the congressman from Texas, said that he's afraid they're going to try and tell people they can't camp on the Guadalupe River because it's too dangerous, and he doesn't want that stopped. The thing is, none of the news people mentioned one of the problems because they got no warning. And somebody said, I think our Secretary of Defense or Secretary of the Interior or whoever said that's because the National Weather Service's computers and equipment is outmoded, and it's all Biden's fault because he didn't spend enough money to keep it up. What would be the other possibility? Over 800 people were fired from the National Weather Service. The staffing has gone down, the amount of money they have, and the National Weather Service actually forecasted that people would die because they couldn't make accurate forecasts. It is beginning to happen right in front of us. And yet, what are the people who push that program saying? It's Biden's fault and it's somebody else's fault, it's not Biden's fault. And we don't care, basically, if it happens again. We still want the kids to camp on the river. So we'll light 2 candles for the people of Texas, the people who are suffering. All right.
Light a candle for my son-in-law, Bruce Meixel, had a stroke Friday morning.
Oh, had a stroke?
Called my daughter about 10:30 in the morning and said he was unable to hold tools in his left hand and he's getting dizzy. So she took him to Wayne Hospital and they treated him there and then transferred him to Miami Valley. He's supposed to have an MRI when he gets down there, but he got down there Saturday morning real early, 1 o'clock in the morning or so, but haven't had any updates since yesterday. So,
all right, well, there's 2 kinds of strokes.
The hand and arm so far. So.
Yeah. There's the bleed type stroke and there's the clot type stroke. The clot stroke, and since you don't really know, if it's a clot type stroke and they diagnose us even at Wayne, they'll give you the clot buster drug. And that has about an 80 or 90% chance of resolving all the symptoms. So we'll light a candle for the Meixel family and hope for resolution of that. If it was a minor blockage with just a grip and a little bit of dizziness, sometimes that can resolve on its own as time goes through. So, but it is still unbelievably scary thing to go through, not only for the person suffering, but for the family who is helpless, unable to do anything. So, all right. Anything else?
Whose picture is this?
That is, I was going to bring him up. That is, his name is Dr. Marwan al-Sultan. Did anybody hear in the news about Dr. Marwan al-Sultan? One of the last Palestinian, actually he's in an Indonesian hospital, but a doctor for children, for pediatrics, in one of the last operating hospitals in Palestine. You see this building? That is the apartment where he lived. So it was struck by an Israeli rocket targeted exactly to his apartment when he and his family were in there. So he and his wife, his mother-in-law, and his 2 children, and I think her husband, one of his children's husband, were all killed. And Israel says they don't know anything about it. Maybe it was a misdirected or whatever. Did you see any of the news on Tehran, the Israeli strikes on Tehran? Remember I told you they killed like 19 nuclear scientists and 19 military leaders? Each one of their houses was struck individually, or their apartments. In a 12-story apartment building, only one apartment was destroyed. The same finesse, the same technique, the same brutality was used on them as was used on Dr. Marwan. And they are closing now the last hospital in Palestine. The inhumanity is unbelievable. We'll add to that also over 500 Palestinians were killed trying to get to food. They were shot down either by drones or people, by soldiers. The one soldier, if you saw the news, said that they opened up with a machine gun on people in a line trying to get food and then laughed when they hit one. And he informed his supervisor that they were indiscriminately killing people, and he said, you don't know that that guy was hit by a bullet. Maybe the guy that you had a film of just fell down, or maybe he passed out from heat stroke. Maybe he was just tired and wanted to rest. They ignore, and the people, he has them on tape, he has on the video, the soldiers laughing about hitting one. So 500 Palestinians killed in the last week trying to get food in the food lines, women, children, and men. 500 drone strikes in Kyiv 2 nights ago. 500 drone strikes a half an hour after our president talked to the president of Russia. A half hour later, 500 drone strikes, the most ever in one night on Kyiv in Ukraine. So we're on a roll. And then to keep with the fives, we got the light. We have a candle for the at least 50 victims in Texas. All right, just something else I want to throw in. Idaho has just passed a new law that it is illegal to have a sign in your classroom that says everyone is welcome here. The state of Idaho, this teacher had it up, everyone is welcome here. And they said you can't do that, it's DEI. It's a political statement. Everyone is welcome here. So that sign was taken down and that teacher is resigned. That is the condition we are in as a country. And that's the road we are on.
Who passed the law in?
Idaho, the Republican legislature of Idaho, and Republican governor, and the Republican Department of Education.
Immediately violation of free speech.
In the United States Supreme Court, have you watched the Supreme Court? There just were 8 people taken to Yemen, deported to Yemen, a Cuban, Vietnamese, people who have nothing to do with Yemen. The State Department put out a warning, no American citizen is to travel to Yemen because it is too dangerous, not Yemen. Yes, because it is too dangerous and there's too much civil war and too much going on. So it's too dangerous for a citizen to go, but they deported 8 people there, and the Supreme Court said, sure, go ahead, send them there, even people who were not from that country.
Sounds as though it's dangerous to visit or go to Idaho. So maybe there needs to be a warning there.
It's only dangerous for certain kinds of people. You can't fly a rainbow flag. Well, we don't have to enumerate who it's dangerous for. I'm sure most of us would have no trouble driving through Idaho unless we started to voice our opinions. And the curious thing is, these are nice people. Just because they're Republicans or conservative doesn't mean they're evil. And I'm not sure what the example is. We're going to find out because of the great beautiful bill that was passed. Interestingly enough, the cutbacks in Medicaid and Social Security and the closing of the hospitals won't happen until after 2026, after the election. And after the election, when all these people have voted for it, there are already people saying, I didn't vote for this. People whose parents, grandparents, children have been picked up in the sweeps and deported, and they voted for the conservative government. but they didn't figure their kids would be affected. They didn't figure their mother would be affected. My mother's lived here 40 years. She's had a job, paid taxes, done everything the whole time. She just unfortunately hadn't got naturalized yet. So.
Tim, on a more positive note, this light a candle for the wonderful people in our New Madison community and beyond who organized a wonderful week, 4th of July activities on Friday and Saturday. They were held.
Very
Lots of people attended. The fireworks display was spectacular, and that doesn't happen by accident. It happens because people care enough about their community to give back. Just light a candle for those people.
Yes, and the Kiwanis sausage sandwich.
Indeed.
Yep.
And the bank and all the merchants who cooperated
and supplied. The sausage trailer had some competition though, because they had Bowman's, the tenderloin truck was
they're
there,
probably used to that.
and there was another one there too. So, but I think there was plenty of supply for everybody. I only have one question: is why? Because if you come up 121 from the south from Richmond, when you come to the 224 or whatever it is, there's a sign that says road closed.
Yes.
Number one,
722.
722. I'm not sure who the bureaucrat was that put that up, because it says 0.2 of a mile ahead.
Yeah.
And it's at least 2 or 3, 4, and 5 miles till you get to New Madison. So you're looking for flags or a hole in the road or anything else.